I hope everyone is doing great. Happy Sunday and welcome to my channel. I am back indoors. So I've been shooting outside because it's been beautiful outside, or it's been nice, or the weather's permitted it. And now it is not so nice. It is actually, well, it's actually a nice day for kind of laying around and watching movies and relaxing in the house, but it's not a nice day for broadcasting outside. So I thought about it, but I was like, I don't want to be cold out there. Hey, Kimmy, thanks for joining. Hello, everyone, again, and happy Sunday. I hope everyone had a wonderful week. I actually had a very tough week. I am resting and you know, sometimes you feel like after the week has been so crazy, you just need to decompress. And so that was what my weekend was all about. My weekend has been all about just reconnecting with my family and kind of remembering the things that matter in life, which are not necessarily your 9 to 5 and the things that come with it. So that was what my week was like, and I'm so happy that this is what my weekend has been like. But either way, let's jump right into the topic of the dangers with saying because I said so, right? The danger of saying because I said so. So let me just give you a little background, a little bit about how I grew up. And so my mom was a single mom, right? She raised myself and my brother. And I don't think she said because I said so. And I'm talking about in relation to like when I ask to do something and she says no, or if she says, or she gives me a command, or you know, tells me to do something, and I would say, you know, why I have to do that, because children ask the question why often, right? And I don't know if she said because I said so for every single thing, but she said it a lot. She said it a lot. Like I know that it stuck out for me as like one of her lines, along with because I'm the mother and you're the child and that's it and that's the reason. And I, because of that, had vowed, even when I was young, and she'll tell you, like when I was young, I would say, when I have children, I'm never going to say because I said so. You never want to give a reason for anything. You kind of just power happy, you know, and that's what I remember thinking and voicing to some extent, right? I was that child who said certain things that got you in trouble, but I was just like, you know what, I need to say this. Like, you're only saying because I said so because you're just using your authority like that. That's not a real reason. So I was that kid. So fast forward, you know, so when I was like 12 and all of that, I remember saying, when I have children, I'm going to give them explanations. I'm going to tell them the real reason I want them to do something, right? And when I have children, so right, we have 3 children. For a while, I would say that I honored my what I said I was going to do, right? Which is to not say because I said so. I decided that I was going to give them explanations for everything they asked me why about, right? So if you know anything about 3-year-olds or 2-year-olds, mostly 3-year-olds, they hit the why stage, like they hit the ground running with why. Everything is why. Why do I have to, why do I have to go to the bathroom, even though they're jumping around and clearly having to go to the bathroom, right? So go use the toilet. Why? I'm watching TV. Why? And they're like this. Well, you know, the reason is because you have to go, right? And so I got into the habit, as per what I declared when I was little, that I would give an explanation for everything, right? So my son now, my oldest son is 14 years old, and so I've been following that practice for a while, and here is what I learned about that, right? There is always a reason for why, as parents and as people, when we want someone to do something or we ask them to do something, there is always a reason, right? There is. Whatever, there's always a reason, right? I don't have to really explain that anymore, but there is usually a reason, and there is always a reason. So for me, that first thing is that I recognize, yeah, there is always a reason. The second thing that I realized is that I had to push myself to understand why I'm requesting my child to do something, right? I had to, I don't like to do things without a purpose, without a reason. I don't like to scream out demands just arbitrarily and just because I have the power to do so. I don't, you know what I mean? That's a personal thing. That's me. I don't know. There are other people who like to give demands for specific reasons, right? But for me, I don't like to do that, right? I have a certain amount of authority. I'm a parent. I have authority over my children. And just because of that, I don't like to just exercise that authority just because, right? So I learned about myself that when I wanted to ask them to do something, it was with a purpose of having something done. And so I learned that I can push myself to give answers and to give reasons for why and justifications for why. And that is a push, right? If you're not a person who's used to explaining yourself, it is a push to begin to give explanations for things, right? So that's what I learned. But I also learned something very interesting. There is a huge downfall for that practice when you have children, right? And I learned that too. And the first downfall of it is it is exhausting as heck. Like, it's exhausting to constantly give explanations for why you want something done as a parent, right? It's very exhausting. It also sets your child up for always wanting an explanation and needing one, right? So if you've started with that practice, which I did, right, with my children being very young, what I learned is that when I would say do something, it would always be like, why? And then I'd give an explanation, and which leads to the next thing. They will not back down if they don't like the answer, right? This is what I discovered. So you give an answer for why you want it done, right? Clean your room right now. Why right now? Well, because right now it's time for, like, everyone is cleaning up. We're all doing that as a family. So go in your room and clean up, or go in your room because it's extremely messy, or go, and you give that, or I would give that explanation, and they would counter, right? So then the children become able to counter your reasoning. It's messy, but it's not that messy. It's, it's my room. Like, if it's bothering you, close the door, something like that. They'll give a counter because the explanation for your reason for why you asked that, they didn't like it, right? So that goes back to being exhausting, right? It's exhausting. And so that's what I discovered with that as well. And it made me realize, all right, there's a reason for having to say because I said so with children. I get it, right? I don't know why I tend to be a person who likes to experiment and see to know whether or not why this is a good thing. Hey, thanks for joining. So I realized, okay, I get why people say it. I get it. But this broadcast is actually about the danger of it. So it seems like it's counter what I'm saying. There is still a danger in saying it. And so why am I saying that it's a dangerous thing? Well, saying because I said so as a parent or any authority figure can become a very easy to go to saying. It can become really quick for you to have that be your reason why. And I think that while I was on one end of being really, I guess, religious about not saying it, with everything you have to find a balance, right? I think I always talk about balance in my broadcast because everything has to have a balance. And so while it is not a good thing for it to become the constant, to not say it, right? It's also not a good thing for it to become the constant to say it. Because when you do that, it teaches the children, it teaches your children that it's just your authority that they should be respecting for the reason to do something or not do something, right? Um, why can't I stay out past curfew? Oh, because I said so. Come home. Why do I have to clean my room right now? Because I said so. Why do I have to eat my vegetables? Because I said so. Well, honestly, there is a legitimate reason why you should eat your vegetables. They are healthy. They will help your body. They contain nutrition that, or whatever. They contain things that your body needs. Why can't I stay out past curfew? Well, it gets late. It becomes dangerous. I don't feel comfortable. Like, those are real reasons, and they're legitimate reasons, and so relying on because I said so doesn't teach vital lessons that might have been taught otherwise if you would have given an explanation, right? So, there's a place for it. There's a place for not saying I said because I said so, and instead inserting an actual answer for it. So what I would say when it comes to finding that balance, check yourself, right? So I have realized that sometimes I want to say because I said so, strictly because I am exhausted and I don't feel like answering. And I will now give that answer, I had a long day. I am tired. Just do it because I said so. Point blank period. That's it. Because even in me responding that way, I am showing my personable side or my personal, my what's happening with me, which is that I'm tired and I don't want to answer. I don't want to give a deeper answer. And I think that that's important for our children to know as well. I get tired. I get cranky, I get exhausted, I am moody, and it shows them that these are all things that they feel too, and it's okay. And so I don't want to answer because of I'm feeling all these ways. I do think it's important to follow up with the reason why, if it's something that you've never explained to them the reason why, give that explanation a little later when you're not exhausted, when it doesn't come out as snappy, but I think that it's finding that balance, right? So also, after you've given a reason and they're still like, why? Well, then you put your foot down because I said so. Forget it. I tried this communication with you. I tried to tell you why. You don't like it. You're not getting it. You're only 5 years old, and so that makes sense that you're not getting it because I said so. But it's after I've given answers, and I've given something. That's one way of thinking about it. But I do think that it's important to strike that balance. I think that children should understand, like what I've noticed too is that sometimes they're just not going to get it. They're not going to get your explanation, because they've only been here for so many years, right? When you're 11 or when you're 3 and you hear that explanation and you're like, yeah, I don't like that. I still want a lollipop, though it's bedtime. All right. No, you're not getting one because I said so. Take the lollipop. Don't, maybe you'll get it in the morning. Bye. Go to bed. Because they're not going to get it. They really just want what they want. And so you do have to exercise that authority. But I think that's the biggest danger in it, which is if you make it a habit continuously, if that's all you do, that is where the danger lies. Because we are parents who are supposed to be teaching our children. And you can teach them vital lessons, or you can just teach them to respect the authority figure that you are. In which case, because there is some benefit in that as well, of course, right? You should teach them to respect authority. But for me, I am not comfortable knowing that the only reason that my child does or does not do something is because an authority figure said so. Like, I don't, to me, that doesn't teach them to be logical thinkers and to put rationale behind things before they move and do things. So there's a balance to be struck, That's about it. I just wanted to come on air and share that. I learned that lesson. It took me a while. And so hopefully I can save someone who is either on one end, like, or help someone, right? Not save someone, but help someone who's on the one extreme where you're like constantly just like, because I said so, or someone who is on the other extreme like I was, where it's like, give an explanation. That crap is tiring. It is very exhausting. So hopefully it helps someone to learn the lesson that it took me a while to learn. But that's about it. Just wanted to come on and share. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I know I am about to watch a movie and relax for the rest of the day before I have to run back into work. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon. Have a great one. Bye.